Hey guys, welcome to TCT time!
Yay!
Come by! With tea. Welcome back to TCT time. I'm your host Shizuka, and we're joined by actors Eri, Jason, and Kyle. Yay! Punch, 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 punch. So we recently did a video about how we get started in the entertainment industry in Japan. We've all been working in the industry for quite a while now. Are we going to say all of us about
I'm not
10
as
years?
old as I look, so let's just not talk about years.
We won't talk about years.
Honey.
We won't talk
But
about
I've
years.
been around the block a time or two and then back, so yeah.
Yes. So we have our experience. Let's just say that. But with that experience comes, I think, a lot of experience with difficulties in the industry too. Like, we've all had our obstacles, we've all overcome obstacles. There's been a lot of ups and downs.
Definitely.
Essentially. And I wanted to hear about exactly what your experiences were trying to make it through the industry. I wanted to hear your insights. Like, how about let's start with you. Like, did you have any specific difficulties trying to make it? Like, was being a foreign talent ever a problem for you?
Well, I still feel like after I've been in Tokyo now for more than 10 years, I still feel like I'm navigating the experience because the industry, the country, the media, everything evolves. And so I feel like I'm constantly trying to navigate my way through things. And I have made basically every mistake that someone can make in the industry. Guaranteed I've made that mistake. Right. Which you learn from your mistakes, and so I've had a lot of lessons.
Yes, that's good.
I've learned a lot. But the hardships, yeah, there are definitely things that we as actors and performers are dealing with and also navigating as we go through all of this. For example, once I was ecstatic to see that one of my favorite musicals, an American show, was being cast in Japan. They were doing a Japan tour of the show, and I was ecstatic, and I sent in my stuff, and I was over the moon when I found out that I made it through the first round. And then I went in and sang, and we danced. I kept in the running for this show, and in the end I wasn't cast. And what I was told was that because I was not Japanese, and I wasn't half Japanese, and I thought to myself, this is an American musical about Americans in America.
Right.
Hello. And
you are perfect for the role.
And they said that because this is a Japanese cast in Japan, that having one person who's not Japanese makes the rest of the cast, the Japanese, look like it's fake. Because the real deal is right there, and then everyone around them is not. So there would be me, who actually has an American name, an English name, and then, talking to a Japanese person who also for some reason has an American name, and so that was something that I've been dealing with, but sometimes that actually works in our favor,
right?
Because there'll be a show that they need a non-Japanese person to give that authenticity to,
right?
And
Or
so
the token foreigner.
I
or like
used
those English educational shows always need the foreign.
Those
You do
I
the
feel
authenticity.
like they need us.
Yeah.
We are a necessary part in the industry. So yeah, I feel like that even though that was a hardship for me, it kind of works in our favor sometimes.
Right. In the end, I think we all have like our own little niche in the industry. Like, so there are roles where they do specifically need that foreign person to give it authenticity for like an English educational program, for example.
Yeah.
But sometimes you wish that you could be perfect for that part, and you don't get it for just like such a silly reason.
Well, I've also been on the other side of it when I went to a Japanese audition. It was something that was not advertising for a non-Japanese role, but I was like, singing, dancing, acting, tour, yes, I want to do it. And I went into the audition, and the casting team was like, what if we made this character not Japanese? So the script...
Revolutionary!
So basically, they actually changed the script to have this character being not Japanese.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I also did this
So
one tour where I was acting the part of a Russian. And no offense to anybody who's Russian, but I don't feel like someone would look at me and think Russian.
Right.
So before they actually gave me the script, they enrolled me in Russian conversation classes.
Wow.
So this theater company is a very well-known theater company. So they put me in Russian speaking lessons first. And after I had a few lessons under my belt, then they gave me the script. And they said, okay, here's the script. You're speaking Japanese, but we need you to speak Japanese with a Russian accent.
Japanese with a Russian accent.
Yeah.
That's
Don't ask me to repeat it. It was 4 years ago.
Wow.
So,
that's a new thing.
Konnichiwa.
yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it was.
Konnichiwa.
But it was, it was a challenge, but it was an amazing experience, and I loved it.
That's really amazing.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
was
cool
fun.
that they took the time to give you those lessons, because I've heard of a lot of cases in like being a foreign actor in Japan where they're just like, okay, you're Russian, but they don't even care. Like they don't care if you speak it or not. Just like, okay, you're blonde, great. Like just pretend to be Russian, or
Pretend to be Russian. Isn't it?
on the other hand, they are Russian actors because they're blonde and beautiful, but play an American. And then when they have those English roles, as a foreign person watching it, you're just
Thickest
like,
Russian accent.
how is
Right.
this person even pretending to be American right now?
I don't know who they think they're fooling, but
Who are they
they're
trying
fooling
to
the Japanese
fool?
people because
But
they
that's
believe
Japan.
it.
They're so a lot of Japanese entertainment is still so domestically targeted. They're not really thinking about, oh, no one's going to see this, only Japanese people. So the Japanese don't know the difference between an American and a Russian accent. But
Right.
which I think they're kind of dumbing down their own populace. I think they do know the difference, but it's like, no one will notice. I think they do. But,
Yeah.
They do.
And the world is watching. We have
Yeah.
YouTube. We have all these
Yes.
streaming services. Like, people can see your stuff, but it's like still, no, it's fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Cutting
Yeah.
corners here and there. So
Yeah.
that's an issue.
I
as well.
saw the exact same like example of the situation on an ad on like Instagram, and it was an ad for an English learning app, I believe. And it was like learn English by listening to like native speakers and learn the native pronunciation. But the girl in the ad, like she was not a native English speaker. She was a foreigner, but she's like saying the word. She's like impressive. And it's just like, you're just like, what? And it's like, how are you learning the native English accent?
And people wonder why the Japanese's English is lacking.
Yes, exactly.
It's unique. It's unique English here.
Man, it's very unique. It's just a little bit of everything.
Definitely.
So yeah, I face palmed at that. But also as a like foreign actor in Japan, did you have any similar experiences to Jason where like you?
Well, I kind of been like kind of similar, but the opposite. Like I spoke previously about the token foreigner role, where you're always like, with that is you get a lot of roles where you're the foreign guy. You walk on, you just do something that a Japanese person would normally wouldn't do. And it's like, oh, it's funny if a foreigner did this. Or funny if a foreigner did that. Oh, it'd be great if a foreigner was in this situation in Japan. It's like, yeah, that's great, but they don't really give you a lot of serious roles. Like I've spoke before about the importance of learning Japanese and my focus on that and how a lot of people should do that. But then you go to these auditions, you do these lines in Japanese, and like, yeah, that was perfect, but can you sound like a foreigner now? It's like, why did I spend all these years in university and like honing my craft of Japanese just to like break it down and dumb it down and make it sound like I just got off the boat?
Right.
And then they won't consider you for like serious Japanese speaking roles when I've proven to them time and time again I can. When it's like they'll put you in this drama and you're just like, yeah, just you being there just creates the scene and the atmosphere. You'll be in like a numerous episodes. You won't have a single line.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
it's like, then you got people on social media like, why isn't he speaking? I see him on this other show. He's like speaks like a native person. It's like,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that going on. It's like not really be considered for roles that can really advance your career in the Japanese like domestic market.
Right.
But you can get a lot of commercial jobs
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing. And of course, as an English speaker, get a lot of educational jobs.
Yeah.
And reporting jobs, a lot of outbound content.
Right.
But a lot of the domestic content, it's really hard to break into that as a foreigner unless your Japanese is a like superhero level,
Yeah.
or we've talked about before about having credentials like you've went to a prestigious American university or European university and you just have that background, then you get like on those domestic talk shows and things like that. But other than that, you have a lot of outbound content, a lot of token roles, and getting considered for those serious Japanese speaking roles is something I constantly struggle with.
Right, that's very true. I think there's definitely like a huge obstacle for foreign talents in Japan who want to be in the mainstream Japanese talent industry. That's kind of like, if you can get into that, it's almost a fluke. Like, you happen to have a famous like commercial in Japan where you were like the token foreigner, and then everybody loves you, and then let's have him on the variety show as a guest, and then you can be a regular on all these major variety television shows. But for most people, you don't really get a second glance, I feel like, as a foreign talent. It's like, you just play these like quiet side foreigner roles, maybe you don't say anything, and then that's it. So I think that's a huge obstacle for a lot of people in Japan, I imagine.
Definitely.
Yeah. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you also have a little bit of a different perspective on the industry.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your difficulties were trying to navigate the talent industry in Japan?
Well, Japanese industry, they really care about real age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think US and Canada or maybe other countries, they're fine if we actor and actress looks like that age in the role, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they really care about real age. Like, they're looking for between 18 to 23. If I'm 24, but I'm sure I look like teenage.
Right.
But see it.
They're like,
You could, if this was an American like movie, they would 100% cast you as a teenager in
You
high
could be a
school.
teenager till you're 47.
Yeah.
You'd be fine. You'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Asian,
I
don't
could play a
use it.
teenager. You could play a
We could go
teenager.
back and be in
High school
again.
drama right here.
Fine.
You know they do that all the time in Hollywood, though. Like, they have tons of actors in high school who are clearly just like
40.
ripped. There's no way they're like, they just look so ripped and like mature. There's no way that
They're not in high school
When you're in
anymore.
high school,
Yeah.
you're just like so not confident in yourself. You have pimples. Like, there's no one who looks like that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's true. In Japan, there's a really strong emphasis on your age.
yes.
Once you hit a certain age, like I feel like it's kind of the cutoff. Like, you don't get some of these major roles anymore, especially for women, I think.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. They love young, young.
Young women.
Young.
Young.
Exactly.
I said young a couple times there.
Yes.
It's kind of
Very young, like, 18. But I mean, they would like to go younger if they could.
Yes.
But the legal age is 18. So 18 to 24 or 25 is a lot of like the cutoff for a lot of auditions I've seen. Like for major Japanese variety shows or like talk shows. Like, there's a great morning variety show, I guess. Like, they're very popular. Everybody watches them in the morning.
The Wide the Show?
The what show?
I think that's what they call them, Wide the Shows.
Are they called wide shows?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think they're
I
called
didn't-
Wide Shows.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I did have a chance to apply to them, to one in particular, like a couple of times. But yeah, each time I guess like I think they really go for the younger types. I was a little bit on the end of the spectrum at the time, but the cutoff was 25, I believe. And then so I had my last chance at 25, and then I didn't get it still, and then now it's over.
Show-me-ki-gen kirichatta ne.
So I'm not.
Expiration
I'm
date.
over 25 now. The expiration date. It's so cruel. It's terrible. It's so mean.
So for those of you
So
who are
mean.
watching outside of Japan, there is an actual Japanese expression called Christmas cake. That means that you are best until the 25th. On the 26th, you are no longer in season and you are out. That is an actual Japanese phrase.
All the Christmas cakes go in the
cake.
garbage.
Christmas cake, you are good till you're 25. December 25th, you're good. But what's interesting, it's the truth.
It's the truth. Christmas cake.
That is an actual Japanese phrase. But what's also interesting about like age and casting, I've noticed, like you guys were saying, like it was pretty strict about like 18 to 25.
Yeah.
For males, it's like, let's say for example, 25 to 35 in parentheses looking. So as long as you, for the guys anyway, on my auditions, I've never been to a girl audition, but for the guy auditions, it says like 25 to 35 looking. So if you're 45 but look 35, you are welcome in the audition.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're so very strict, much stricter against women, which
Yeah.
is
definitely.
yeah.
It really, that is a really unfortunate aspect of the industry.
Yes.
There are, of course, auditions where they're like, late, like 20s looking women as
Yeah.
well. So maybe you could get by with being like early 30s, but I've never seen like you can still go to an audition at 40 and be a 20-year-old. Like I think that's never really
I've
gonna-
actually been to auditions and received my audition card from the agency that had brought me to the audition and saw my own age and been like, today I'm 35. Comments. Yep, I'm 35.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, and I just don't.
I'm
Whatever.
taller than usual.
Oh,
waist, I lost weight. Wow.
I'm okay. Yes, this is current. This is
This is current.
Definitely.
Do you do that sometimes where you kind of like tweak your profile a little bit? Like
I have, in order to like just kind of make fun of the situation. I went to an audition recently. I'm more than 40 years old, but I went to an audition recently and said that I was 25.
wow.
Yeah,
But
So
I
you believe
Why not?
you?
not at all.
Oh.
But I was like 25, and I'm like, okay.
Okay, but
Like just to say like how much this does not matter.
it totally
Right.
doesn't matter.
right.
Just people are watching at home. I wonder if he's 37. It's like it doesn't matter.
Nope.
People
Right.
care about your age a lot, like viewers
It's
too.
ridiculous.
There's like, because I started out on a children's show in Japan, and I started a little on the late side, I guess. They were looking originally for someone around 18-ish. The cutoff was 20 for this like children's show, like cute One-san, which is like a young girl, bubbly and cute. I was wearing a high school uniform type outfit. So I mean, they wanted someone young, but I auditioned when I was 19, just turned 20 after the audition. So it was very giri-giri. It was right at the cutoff. But I got the role, which was amazing. But of course, yeah, so it was good. At 20, I was still a very bubbly, like, young person. But the...
You're not bubbly at all anymore.
Yeah, you just lost that.
I lost all my bubbliness
Gone.
as the
All
years
bubbles.
went
You're
by.
flat champagne.
Now I'm just serious all the time, and I never smile.
Me too.
but anyway, the comments on the show, there was nothing negative, but they would search up my profile, of course, and like learn about me. They're like, oh man, like wow, she's so I did it for a little while, but they're like, oh wow, she's like 24, like how. Wow, she doesn't look 24 at all. Like, I was expecting someone a lot younger. Like, wow, for a children's show, 24? Like, damn. So there were some comments like that. But in the end, like, it doesn't matter as long as you look the part. And I did look the part, so. What more can you ask for, really?
What more could you ask
Yeah,
for?
pretty much.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
This is how it goes.
It is. But I do feel concerned for, like, in my career as it goes along. Like, as I get older, will I still have work, like, in my 30s, for example, is a concern. I think a lot of women in the industry do drop out, like, by their late 20s. They're just
Or
like,
they
oh.
stay 25 forever.
Or they
on their
stay
employer.
25
Yeah,
forever.
or
Yes.
they just stick with it. Then when they turn into 35, they can act as mother.
It's, but that's the thing. You
So-
automatically
Yeah.
become the mother role.
Yep.
Yep.
There's no other kind of great leading roles at that point, which sucks.
And when you get to 40, you're the career woman who can't get married. You're the
Oh,
doctor,
no.
lawyer.
Oh,
It's interesting
no.
that you're typecast by your
so
age.
true. It's so true.
I ain't got time for a man.
Yeah, but it's true. There are like TV dramas in Japan that are all about that. It's like, yeah, I'm like, there's a TV show called like Watashi wa zettai kekkon shinai, or so, なんかそういう感じの I will never get married, or like some kind of kekkon shinai onna. Yeah, the woman who doesn't get married. There was a similar titled show in Japan.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was about this like career woman, and she was like focusing on her career. I didn't watch the show, so I don't know the details, but you know, that was the premise. But yeah, of course they need that older leading lady in that case, but that's like your main, you know, role in that at that time. You're either a mother or you're a woman who will not get married because she is a career woman.
You'll never be happy, truly.
She doesn't need no man. But of course at the end, you know, she gets a man. It's like, oh, but in the end,
A young 20-year-old.
she finds her love, because that's what you need in your life. You need a man at the end. Even though you say you don't. But I think that does cover quite a bit about, you know, some of the difficulties that we've faced. And all of us have very different backgrounds. You know, a little bit, I think the perspective is quite different as a woman in the industry, where we are typecast by our age, essentially. But if we work in the foreign industry a little bit more, like doing roles abroad, then I find that it gets a lot easier. Like, they're just like, yeah, if you look like you're in your 20s, but like, yeah, 30s ladies are welcome. Japanese people usually look young anyway, so
Yes.
we get a little bit of lenience in that situation. Yay. Yeah, but in Japan, for men, yeah, the age range is a little bit wider, I think.
We're like a fine wine. We get better with age.
Yes. Oh, that pisses me off so much. Men get better with age, and
Christmas cake
women-
versus wine.
women
That's
are
how
Christmas
Japan
cake.
does it.
That's so mean. So
Yeah.
mean. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
But it's not all bad, of course. Like, we still enjoy working in this industry. That's why we're all still in it. Isn't that right?
Yeah, if we didn't, I would have been gone long ago.
Exactly. So, I mean, the opportunities
That's right.
are still out there no matter your age, as long as you're resilient and you keep actively searching out your opportunities. Well, I hope you guys learned a little something in this video. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you. You're a wonderful hostess.
No, thank you. Thank you. I have a little bit of practice now. But if you guys are interested in following these lovely people and their escapades in the Japanese entertainment industry, their links to their social media will be down below. So please go and follow them. And also, Kyle has a little something he's been working on that I think you guys should know about. What is it?
Well, if you enjoy comedy and love all things Japan, I invite you to check out The Benza, which is an independent production by my team in Tokyo Cowboys. And it's on Amazon Prime in the UK, US, and Japan right now. And you can check that out. It's about two Americans living in Japan, and they wake up one morning and the toilet seat is broken, and then adventures ensue. So please check that out.
It's a great story. I watched it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so please do check that out, and hopefully if we have a chance, you guys can come back on the show again and talk about more interesting Tokyo-related things. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.